Hey guys, thanks for watching Hardwired Media. Now enjoy part 2 of the series where I do the external portion of the build and test the parts. The first thing I did for the external build was install the central processing unit. I did this by slowly lowering it down on the CPU socket while holding it on the sides. I didn't touch the bottom or the top at all because it could damage the processor. Next, I had to install the CPU cooler. I used the stock cooler that came with the CPU. I simply lowered the cooler over the processor and clicked the snaps into place diagonally. I will eventually get a better cooler like a water cooler, which allows for an overclock. After that, I installed the system memory. I got 16 GB of RAM, which will be plenty for gaming, as well as some other things I want to do, like system emulators and some video editing. To do this, I simply had to push a small lever next to the RAM slot and slot in the RAM. I got RAM that could be overclocked to 2400 MHz, but I was not overclocking it yet, so there was no need to put the RAM cooler on at this time. My next step was to install my graphics card. This was done pretty much the same as slotting in the RAM, but I had to be careful not to let it sway side to side and damage the slot since the card was not being held in place by the case. The last thing I had to do to get my external build running was plug it into power. I had to plug in power connectors to various spots on the motherboard and graphics card to get them running. The first spot I plugged in was the 24-pin header on the motherboard to power all of its functions and features. Next, I had to plug in a power connector to the CPU header so the processor would run. Lastly, it is almost out of camera shot, but I had to plug in power connectors, one 6-pin and the other 4-pin, to the top of the graphics card so it would run. Finally, I connected an HDMI cable from my graphics card to my monitor so I could make sure it was working and that I got my motherboard's splash screen. I powered it on with the button on the motherboard and it ran perfectly. I got a post beep which told me all the functions had been checked and it was working smoothly. With this, I knew that I was ready to start putting all of the components into the case. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more media and tech related videos. Check out other parts of the series on screen now. Thanks for watching.